All right, if y'all want to grab a seat, I think we're about ready to get started. First up, we're going to have Carl come up and tell us about the barbecue that's coming up and any other events he wants to talk about.
Okay, I promise this is the last month this year that I do this. Because this Saturday is the 7-6 barbecue. And we haven't beat this drum enough every week for the last 6 months or so. From 10 till 2, Highland Glen Park. Noji's going to set up an HF station. You said you're going to be there early.
Well, no, just 7:30.
7:30, that means he'll be there by 8:30. We know how Noji is. Anyway, Lynn generally is there before 9 o'clock to open the gate for us because we can pull the barbecue in and unload some stuff. But be there early. If you want good parking, be there early. What did Stan say? It's free fishing day or something? I hope they don't have a fishing derby up there again this year, but man. Anyway, potluck. Otherwise, we've got the chicken, we're going to barbecue. And I know my wife made a big old vat of calico beans again, so if nothing else, we'll be eating that. 10 till 2, we usually have to be out of there or start cleaning up about 2 for the next organization that's got that thing reserved. But it's at the Pavilion, rain or shine. We all know it's going to be in the mid-90s on Saturday. We'll be getting out of there just in time for the heat wave. Anyway, come join us at 7-6 Barbecue. It's always a good time. We'll do a raffle. Free tickets to the 7-6ers, free ticket. And if you want to increase your chances on radio or antenna wins, you can just buy tickets for $1 a piece like we always do every year. Other than that, I'm sure if you've got a family reunion scheduled, you're not going to be there, so we won't beat that drum anymore. Huh? Yeah. This is the barbecue. I'll be there. Also, let's announce the September 5th at 1 p.m. Leatherby's in Orem. Put that on your schedule. We always have a good time at Leatherby's for our ice cream social. If you don't eat ice cream, there's always other things to eat there. Leatherby's is a good place to go. And we will have our regular ice cream social. That's all I've got, unless somebody's got any questions. I'm out of here. That's the last time all year I mentioned that.
All right, next up is Joe. He's going to tell us about Field Day.
Oh, you took my thunder. I was going to say, guess what I'm going to talk about? Oh, Field Day! Field Day's this month, the 27th and 28th, north of Strawberry Reservoir on Trout Creek Road. If you don't know where that's at, just head like you go towards Heber, and then you'll see Trout Creek sign turn here on a very dangerous curve, so just be careful. What else are we looking for help for? We got...
Just set up and take down.
What's that?
Just set up and take down.
Okay, so 8 o'clock Saturday morning, or a little bit earlier than that, we start setting up antennas. So if you want to show up and help set up antennas, please show up. The best part about Field Day is the second best thing about Field Day at 5 o'clock on Saturday is our potluck. On Facebook, you go to UVARC, not website, Facebook page. On there is a little events for Summer Field Day, and there's a little Google sheet, whatever they call it. Click on it, open it up. It should open up for anybody because anybody has the link should be able to edit. So you can go in there and fill in your stuff. And then,
Well, Joe,
yes, sir.
we also need extra tables and canopies, chairs.
Extra tables and canopies. If you can bring an extra canopy or an extra table, 4 foot, 6 foot, 8 foot, we really appreciate you. Got to have some place to set up the food. And if you bring food, keep track of it. If it doesn't all get eaten, take your food home. We're back with you, or give it to the kids. The other thing we're going to do is we got I think it's a 100-inch screen. We're going to show a movie for the kids when it gets dark. It's going to be a little bit late at night because I don't think it really gets dark till about 9:30. But if the kids want to stay up that late so you can let them sleep in the next morning so you can get on the radio, that's fine.
Bring your own chairs. We don't have chairs for the dinner.
Yep. BYOC.
And your talking easy ups. You want some easy ups.
A couple easy ups, a couple tables, works just fine. Plus, I don't see Dave's not here, but we're also going to do some ham radio testing. So if you're ready for that next class, field day is a way to test it. Come in, pass your test, get your upgrade, go sit on the radio for about an hour or so, if you can get it away from Carl.
Sit on the radio anyway. You're
Yeah.
welcome to
Yep.
without a license.
Yep, if you ain't got a license, come anyhow. We'll get you on the radio, get you some practical application. And like I said, that's Saturday the 27th to Sunday. We start transmitting at noon on Saturday and go till noon on Sunday. So it's a 24-hour event. Then after we're all done, we gotta break it all down. So all the help we can use. I'm gonna be up there probably about the 19th or the 20th of June with my camper. So if you want to bring your camper up there and put it in a good spot and not come for a couple days, that's fine. We got security watching everything. Next is the Ham Radio Fair, July 16th at the Pheasant Brook Park in Linden. We're going to have an ugly antenna contest, so make it the ugliest antenna you can. Okay? Easy way to find it. Pull out your phone, go to maps, put in Pheasant Brook Park, Linden, exactly what it says up there. It'll give you directions right to it. Next up, No G.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. And by the way, that Ham Radio Fair, in case you haven't been to one of these, okay, it's just a bunch of us who are getting together. We set up radios, we set up antennas, we set up a solar station, a radio programming station like what Ralph usually does here. We have all different kinds of kiosks and things for people to set up and do stuff. They'll show you how to do, to put together Anderson power pole connectors, how to do PL259 connectors. There's people there that can talk about antennas and show you all the different kinds of antennas that people do and things. And we got people just standing around doing nothing, waiting for you to ask them really crazy questions. And we know you have a lot of crazy questions. We have people that demonstrate POTA, that demonstrate, NVIS and all kinds of things. This is a place where we can actually get together because we're outside. We can actually set stuff up. See, in here, this is fun. We get together, we talk and rub shoulders. That's great. But there's no chance of setting anything up in here radio-wise. We're kind of shielded. And so outside, you can do a lot more. Of course, sometimes it does rain, but, barring that, we're going to have a lot of fun. We'll have a pavilion anyway. So anyway, that's our Ham Radio Fair.
Also, if that's on a Thursday night, as I recall.
That's Thursday night at 6.
The new ham radio guys always do their net.
Oh, that's true.
From that position too. So you can always get an idea what's going on there with net control.
That's true.
Always go set up that there. And Noji always brings treats and snacks and donuts.
What? Wait. I didn't volunteer. Okay, so yeah, he's right that as far as the radio goes, that the new Hamnet will actually be transmitting from that location at Pheasant Brook Park. So if you want to see what they do to run a net and how that kind of thing works, how they take check-ins and go back and forth, this might be a chance to see what it's doing. And you can be part of that firsthand. They'll get you on the net, checked in, and you can even help out net control. Anyway, enough of that. So what I've got here is a list of those who have recently got their HEM license since the last club meeting. If you are on this list, or if you are new to HEM radio, could you please stand? Joe, and this, Doug, sorry, thank you, Doug. And what's your name? Michael. Thank you guys and the guy in the back, what's your name? Mason. Give these guys a big hand. Welcome to the world of amateur radio, guys. Thanks so much. I'm glad you're here with us. And even if you guys didn't have a chance to stand up or whatever, people are in the audience right now watching this YouTube live stream, and they're probably standing right. You can sit down now if you're in the audience standing, but we clap for them as well. So besides them, we also have a list of those who upgrade. Only 2 upgrades that I know about this time. So if you are here, you're one of these 2, could you please stand? Or if you're in the studio audience, stand up, please. All right, we'll clap for them too. All right, thank you very much. Well, that's all I've got. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. And the next thing is actually we're going to turn the time over to our presentation this evening. This presenter is Brian. I don't know him very well, but he came to me very highly recommended by a bunch of people who says that he's like the king of POTA now. I want to know how he got that title. And in fact, Brian's going to tell us a little bit about how he got into it because of a little thing that happened in the digital conference. So anyway, Brian, take it away.
All right. Thank you, Noji. All right. As Noji said, I heard about POTA through the digital conference. I was literally days away from saying enough of being a ham radio operator. And I thought, well, I may as well go spend another 20 bucks, go to a digital conference and see what's going on. So, all right. So, hey, what can I say? Utah state flag, it is public domain. You can play around with it as you want. So I wasn't sure which was going to be more appropriate. Now, a little bit about me. I did hear about Parks on the Air through the Utah Digital Conference. This was just at the upturn of the last solar cycle, which was ideal because I got my general in 2018-ish, picked up an 817, tried measuring out the wire, tried getting on the air, and I was failing miserably. And so I activated my first park that summer. The second park, it was kind of so-so, and then something clicked in me. And so part of this presentation is for me to help you not fail where I was failing. Now, this is my car. This is one of my favorite antenna setups. My favorite antenna setup is a tri-mag mount with a 17-foot whip. It's 2-to-1 SWR. For those of you who want to tweak it, you can, but 2-to-1 right now gets me on the air and gets me going. The purpose of this presentation is not so much about POTA, but about getting on the air. So you who just made technicians, I'm going to include you because I struggled as a tech to get on the air for quite a while. I am going to give a couple of disclaimer statements really quick. One, POTA can be dangerous. So you need to be always aware of what's going on around you. Next, I am going to say a couple of controversial things, and you'll understand why when I come up to them. I'm not an expert. Some of you have more expertise in certain aspects of this hobby than I will ever dream of. So a couple of things about what is POTA doing for the ham radio community. One, it's driving quality operations both in and out of the field. You can listen to some of the folks who have been on for a while and you can hear the quality come. You can also hear new operators struggle. And typically if you're a poor operator, things start, you either improve or the community boots you off the air silently. So a couple of numbers to keep in mind of. Okay, I checked these numbers this weekend. We already have 11,000 plus activators working parks this year. We've seen a 27% steady increase since POTA began. Now, this is going to be controversial, these two bottom lines here. I'm going to define single point park versus regional park. So single point park, you have it just down the road from you, Utah Lake State Park. It is Utah's singly most activated park. Regionally, that falls to Dixie. So y'all up here in the Wasatch, we got some work to do. Come on, get outside. All right, so POTA basics. You need a minimum of 10 contacts. I would encourage you to aim for 15 plus. There's been a couple of places where I barely squeezed in 10 and it was a painful experience. So if you can get yourself 10 plus, all the more power to you. All operations need to be within the park boundaries. And I'll show you how you can look up some of the park boundaries later on. One big tip is, as I was getting ready for this evening, I live up in Salt Lake. The traffic in northern Utah County can be a bear, so I took a couple of hours off of work and I activated Powell Slough just about 15 minutes away. And I talked to Joshua, I can't think of his call sign right now, but there's a couple of other locals that will pick me up on the ground wave on 20 meters. So if you have that opportunity to squeeze in an activation, stick around. I would have stuck around to pick up the extra day if I didn't need to come over here, because even though the bands were so-so, I was still able to pick up quite a good bass. Now, Parks on the Air is not a contest, but you will hear a lot of contesters. We have a huge contest going up. I'm not going quiz you guys, but it was already mentioned, okay? The tip about working contests, find out what the exchange is and work it. But it is awards-based. In my background, I've got 3 of the more common awards. You get your first award, it's the Bronze Activator Award. Then I love doing park to park. You don't have to do park to park, but it's helpful. And then I love the kilos. So if you look at 5929 Utah Flight Park, I'm almost to 5K up there. Jody's giving me some trouble here. He's driving me. He's making me get there. All right. Now, I'm not going to cover the POTA website itself. I'm just going to pick and choose a few things. This map is the POTA website. It is zoomable. I do encourage you to investigate the map. It is zoomable. You can click on it, and it reveals a lot of information. Now, tip with the long trails. We have 3 major long trails coming through Salt Lake. We've got Mormon Pioneer, Pony Express, and the California Trail. If you go down south, we also have a couple of other long trails cutting through the entire length of the Wasatch. We have US 10965, the Great Western. And that trail, to me, seems to be more seasonal with where it accesses. But those of you who want to go up to Deer Creek, there's a couple of access points where you can get on this rarely activated location. Now, speaking of rarely, over President's Day, I was down in Escalante. I was getting ready to pull out the next day. I was going to hit Bryce and then drop my mic and drive home. And I noticed this wayside. And when you click on the yellow dots, this screen is going to be what you see. A tip here is open the More Information tab in another tab so you can return to this part later on. This gives us a lot of information. Okay, you'll see where it's located at, what's going on, how many times it's been activated. This one's only been activated once at that time. I put in the second activation, I checked right before I came, it's now been activated 3 times. When you zoom in on the map, you'll understand why. It's surrounded by sandstone, north and south. I literally had an east-west corridor. I was out of cell phone range, which those of you who've ever posted your spots, not having cell phone connection means you don't spot yourself, somebody else spots you. It took me half an hour to get my first spot and my first contact, and he wasn't even a POTA hunter. It took me another couple of contacts before I finally had a pileup. I ended up with 33 in about an hour and a half of activation, which set me back behind for the day. But I love rare parks as much as I do doing rovers. Now, there's other resources. This is a key resource for you. Okay, now, remember, don't trust all maps, especially Google Maps when you're going someplace new. You will end up lost and or in a dangerous situation. So always keep your mind about you when you're heading to someplace new. Be checking multiple services. I like the Cal Topo maps because you can see different overlays to figure out who owns the land. But I'll also tell you this, Cal Topo puts East Canyon State Park up at the top of Big Mountain Pass, which it is not. So you may also have to overlay with Utah State Parks, National Trail Systems. There's multiple maps that you can always cross-check, and I do encourage you to do so. POTAmap.us, it has its unique features, and one of those unique features is you can upload your current log there and see what parks you've activated and which ones you haven't. Now, how do I go about planning an activation? It comes down to a couple of questions. How much time do I have? What else is going on? What responsibilities do I have? And then, like this evening, I had an hour, so I swung by a nearby park to activate it instead of sitting in traffic. How much time do I have? Do I have half a day? I may pick another location. Full day, I like doing rovers, so I'll look for clusters of parks along the way. Weekends, do I want to go camping? Do I want to go stay someplace else? What's going on there? And then, of course, extended time available. Who am I with? Am I traveling with anybody? My dad and I, we drove out to Dayton, not for hamvention, sorry fellas, but when it came down to the journey there and journey back, I asked him, can I activate, can we take half an hour to an hour off? And we activated a couple of parks along the way. You'll see a couple of pictures here in a moment. Now, what kind of gear do you need? anything you want. I basically got 2 kits, the one that's in my car and the one which I can throw in a knapsack and take off. At home, when I'm in hunter mode, I live in an HOA. I'm HOA restricted, so I can't put up an antenna, but it makes a great opportunity for me to play around. My vehicle is my mobile shack. I like to keep notes. My cell phone is my logging device, which in this picture is taking the picture. I've got my 817 sitting in the seat. One thing that made activation comfortable for me was the remote head. Initially, I was trying to activate out of the back of the Subaru, which was not comfortable. Anybody who's ever activated in the tailgate of a car, just not comfortable. If you have a pickup truck, it's a lot more comfortable. And so it took me a while to figure out how to set up my kit in such a way that I was comfortable. If you have a radio with a remote head, I would encourage you to check out Lido Products, not sponsored, because they offer a variety of products where you can mount your radio head even temporarily to, like what I did, I took the cup holder and stuffed it into the cubby. Some other things that you want to take along with you. I'm a big fan of paper maps. I've been out in the West Desert where my cell phone app failed. I was down to below half a tank of gas and wondering, how am I going to get back to Delta? Because that was the nearest gas station. So I'm a big fan of having paper maps. Just a couple of other things. A small cooler. If you get out there in the distance, you get hungry. Activating when you're hungry is not fun. And then I like a variety of straps, and you'll see why here in a moment. Something else you'll want to consider. This bottom item is something that's controversial for the time being. I'm going to encourage you. We are secondary users of the wildlife management areas. Please go buy yourself a hunting and fishing license. If worst case scenario, if you're in an area, if the ham radio waves aren't working out for you, you can always take your antenna, throw a hook on it, and go fishing. Okay, but with the America the Beautiful Pass, it will pay for itself with 1 weekend heading down to southern Utah and hit the Big Five. It only takes 2 parks for paying off the America the Beautiful Pass. Plus, you can also use it as the payment for Big and Little Cottonwood Canyons. You also have access to the High Uintas with the America the Beautiful Pass. Also, pick up a state park pass. This one will take a little bit longer for you to make up the difference. But you have beautiful Utah Lake State Park. It has some wonderful sunsets. So one evening, grab a significant other, go play some radio, enjoy the sunset, and a woo-her continuously. Okay, now you've got your gear, you've got your passes. I haven't mentioned power yet. Okay, I am not an expert in the power, but I know failure when it happens. I was up at Bald Mountain Pass a few years ago. I took my 857 up there. I had a 5 amp hour battery. My antenna wasn't quite set up all that well. I was struggling to make contact. I finally broke through someone's pileup and my battery died. Yeah, exactly. So thankfully, I'd already activated the Summit with Summits on the Air, which is another program that's very similar to Parks on the Air. So those of you who like to hike, check out Summits on the Air and start heading on up. It's only been recently that Mount Timpanogos was activated. So there's still plenty of opportunity to snag some other peaks around Utah that have low activations on Summits on the Air. But when it comes down to power, my tip, take more. Take more, okay? The background image is my current radio battery that's sitting in the boot of my car. Now I'm going to make a weird transition here. Like I said, I wasn't going to talk just about Parks on the Air. You can do this at home for you who have never activated mobile. I encourage you to make like you're going for the picnic table. Okay, take your gear that you think you're going to be needing out to your picnic table, set up in your backyard. If you're going to be hiking, go ahead and lean your wire into the tree, activate on the ground. Get comfortable with activating at home because it's a lot easier to run into your shack and pick up something that you lost or you forgot than it is to drive 10 miles back home to pick something up. Okay. Another useful skill that you can do besides getting familiar with your gear and getting comfortable with your gear is practice pulling out call signs. This is one of those skills that will pay dividends. you'll soon pick up who always activates together. There's a couple of folks that I get on a regular basis that when I hear one voice, I need to expect the other to show up as well. Also, get to know your regulars and learn to pick them out. One tip I have here that I didn't include, but if you download the slide deck, you'll hear it, you'll see it, is download the most active hunters and activators and learn to get to know their call signs. You're likely to hit them. Now, I am going to pick on a couple of parks. There's one park just up here, Mount Timpanogos Wilderness Area. Here's an example of using two maps. The map in the center is Google Maps with the satellite image view zoomed in, and then here's also the wildlife management area. You'll notice that if you are someone who activates from your vehicle, the parking lot is out of bounds. So turn around, drive back down, and you will dip back into the wildlife management area. It is steep, so set your parking brake. Or if you want to try your hand at mobile activation, just grab your gear. There's a park bench in, not so far away. You can easily activate from there. Text, this is where you go. You've got full sight of Utah Valley. Get on the repeater, see if anybody will QSY over to Simplex for you and start getting on the air. This is one of the easier parks to activate. Now, one of my favorite things to do is activate multipliers. This is the ultimate hack, in my opinion, to building up and racking up points. Now, halfway between my house and my parents' house, my dad's recognizes now that that I like to take a little bit of extra time. About 5 minutes off of I-80 up Parley's Canyon is Little Mountain Summit. If you park in a specific spot, you get Pony Express, Mormon Pioneer, California Trail, and Wasatch Cashew. You've got 4 parks in one spot. So take advantage of it. Okay, Camp Floyd is just down the road from you. So I've tied that into an activation for you. So on the left side, here's a sample drive that you can do easily in an afternoon. Drive down to the south end of Utah Lake and work your way along the east, and you will have a rover. The rover awards is 5 parks in increments of 5. So we've got the Warthog, we've got a couple of others, I can't think of them off the top of my head, but picking up 5 parks is not that hard to do. I do encourage you to examine the Pony Express Trail. Drive on out, all the way out to Fish Springs if you want, but before you leave Eagle Mountain, make sure you have a full tank of gas, because there's no gas once you get out there. Okay, and so start off at Camp Floyd. Go hit 5 Mile Pass, but don't park where everybody else is parking. I'd encourage you just to go down the road just after it crosses the highway. You'll see a sign that says Original Pony Express Trail. Park there, pick up 2 parks with one item. Then as you drive on down that road, take a right-hand turn. You'll actually go off the Pony Express, pick up James Fitzgerald's Wildlife Management Area. You'll feel like you're turning into somebody's barn, but you're not. Pay attention to which driveway you turn into. Then turn around and head on west. Go out to Simpson Springs, and between the outhouse and the ruins where the displays are, you can pick up 3 parks in one shot. So that can be that location can also be noisy with everybody on the weekends. Now, how do I set up my antennas? This was one of those items that was one of my sore spots when I first started activating. This was one of those things that I struggled with. Okay, do yourself a favor, buy yourself an end-fed half-wave kit that's already pre-made, pre-measured, and then there was an opportunity later on this month where you can go learn and ask questions about getting on the air. Go down there, take advantage of that fair, and learn how to build your own antenna. The end-fed half-waves are not too difficult, nor are the other antennas that you can easily build. Okay, here's an example of how sometimes I will set up my antenna. So I said earlier, I like straps. Okay, the center item with my wheel in there, that's the POTA 20. It could easily be a fishing pole. Okay, next PVC and a couple of tees, and you've got yourself another stand. Utah's full of rocks. You're not going to pound a stake in the ground very easily. So take some PVC, place it in the ground, and then the drive-on masts, the drive-on flagpoles work out very well. There's a variety of them. For those of you who have trucks with hitches, there's a variety of flagpoles that you can attach to and play around with that. I happen to have mine wrapped up in tape to keep it fitting. Now, I don't always do drive-ups. Sometimes I'll walk. Okay, so pedestrian mobile, the distance dictates the kit. So on the far left, I have my rucksack. I've got a 20-watt radio with me. The day I went up, unfortunately, the bands were so bad that I only made 2 contacts along this trail, but thankfully it was a trail. When I returned to the parking lot, I picked up the other required for my 10. In the center, this is Fish Springs Wilderness Area, just south of Fish Springs Wildlife Management Area. I walked in about half an hour, about half a mile, and set up my kit. It was a very nice day. I had a 10 amp hour battery. I activated for about an hour, picked up over 50 different contacts. The strange thing is, most of them were to the west. And what was at my back? The mountains. So you'll be surprised at locations. Okay, next one is my dad and I, we stopped off at the St. Louis Arch on our way home, and I already told him I'm going to activate. And so I found myself a chunk of grass with inside of the arch. I got on. It was a pretty rough day, but I ended up with 13, 14 contacts while we were there before we pulled out and headed down the road. Now, I'm not going to forget the most important person, the most important team member. It's the hunters. It's the people who are sitting at home. So if you all are sitting at home, you're doing something around the house, go ahead and drop a couple of your favorite activators into one of the alert programs so that when we get spotted, you can get that notification and you can start listening for us, okay? You do not need to be of the same class as us to re-spot us. So for techs, if you're wanting to get practice at dialing in your HF radio because you're studying for the generals, go ahead and spot us saying no contact, you are whatever the signal report is. That helps us out. One of the things I like to do is I like to check the history tab to see who's commenting and did I get that person's call sign correct. Okay, now with the hunters, now we're making a transition back to the activation. So you've picked your park, you've daydreamed about the drive, you've gotten your gear together, you've got your lunch together, you've told your significant others where you're going for the day. Now you head out to the park. First stop, look at the park rules. Okay, some parks do not allow you to do drive stakes into the ground, throw lines up into the trees. That's not a problem with us because we don't have very many trees in many of our parks. Okay, location, location, location. Okay, I will give you a tip. When you go out to the Great Salt Lake Park, don't park in the center aisle. There's been many a times that I've had a bus come up and block my antenna signal. Okay, unless you want to use the bus as a reflector and hit the northwest. Okay, but if you're hitting Arizona, and no one from Seattle is responding, then you want to rethink where you park. And last weekend I had to rethink where I parked because they were pulling boats out of the water, and so I parked over by the trees. And then they moved the crane and they parked next to me, and so I moved where the crane was. So location matters. Also, be mindful of your antennas. So for those of you who like the POTA Performer and you have the elevated radials, you may want to pick a park where you can spread out. Utah Flight Park is a wonderful place to go when there's a north wind. If it's a south wind and it's a gentle south wind, expect that place to be busy with the people who are flying. They're fun to watch, and they're really cool to talk to. I've hung out with a few of them. But my rule of thumb is if you're activating in, say, Fort Douglas, you want to keep your antenna as small as possible. So I go for the Trimag mount whip, and that's it. If you're out at one of the wildlife management areas and you have that opportunity, go ahead and set up that elaborate antenna system. Go set up your cobweb, go set up your hex beam, okay? And just be mindful of others. Now you've picked your park, you've got things ready to go, what next? Okay, getting notice. I like the Polo app. There's a lot of features that's going on. Recently, when I post that I'm going to be any place, I've started pile-up management by saying, I'm going to be here for an hour, or I'm going to be leaving at this time. That lets other people know who are hunting you that you're going to be there for a while. Because I found that if I don't post how long I'm going to be there, I get a bunch of people crowding each other out in the first 5-10 minutes, and then it's a trickle zone after that. But if I post how long I'm going to be in any given place, then that pile up spreads out throughout time and gives other people an opportunity to get in. Now,
So do you put that in the comments?
yes, I do. I will do that. So where it says QRV, I will actually type in, like this evening, I put in, I will be here until 0 hour UTC. And so that worked out. And then about 15 minutes to the top of the hour, I said I'm going to be here for about another 5 minutes and posted it. That's one reason why it's important to check the history tab of the website. So that line on the right, that's the history tab. And that's a great place to communicate with others who are wanting to communicate with you. Now, there's times when I'm off the grid, and so I rely on others. So this is where practice of the call signs really come into place, because I'm going to pick on Jody. Someone respotted Jody this weekend with the wrong call sign. I thought, wow, somebody else is up at the flight park. And so I called, and it actually led to Jody having a couple of confusing calls thereafter. So when you do respot, make sure you have spotted the correct call sign, because it can lead to confusion. There's been times when I've been off the grid for a couple of days only to find out that I was spotted wrong, and it led to some confusion. So if you're on the grid, spot yourself. There is an app called SOTA Map. SOTA. That's something that you want to set up before you go out into the field. And then for those of you who like digital communications, you can use that to spot yourself when off the grid. Now, with the scripts, I try and keep it simple. I was activating one day, I was actually wrapping up my activation, and I was scanning the band to see who was there. There was somebody who was giving a 30-second CQ, and he didn't give a space for anybody to break in. After 2 minutes, I gave up and left. So keep your CQs short. If you're activating a long trail or when you win a cache, I encourage you to say periodically in Utah or east of Salt Lake City or Bryce Canyon, Utah, wherever you're activating, periodically throw that in. Mix it up both phonetically and straight. I like to rhythmically mix it up. Okay, and then another tip is lock your dial once you establish a frequency, because it's kind of embarrassing to look up and see they've been transmitting on one frequency but logging on another and you don't know how long it's been. Okay, now the exchange is your basic exchange. You know, they call you, you respond, they give you a signal report, you give them a signal report. You're the one in control of the contact. Okay, there's some people who love to go long-winded. Some people are generous, will say, hey, do you have a moment to chat for a moment? Some people will say, hey, I'm working a scout group. Do you mind if I have one of the scouts come by? And I actually welcome that. But you are in control of the contact. Now, this was probably the third transformative aspect. So the first transformative aspect of my ham radio journey was getting comfortable in my car. Second was figuring out what antenna is useful. And then finally was the digital app. There's a lot of different digital apps, so while you're at home, play around with them. You don't have to carry a computer. We have a computer in our pocket, and it's very effective. Now, along with this, I often miskey quite a few call signs, so get used to pausing and going back. But the nice thing about the digital apps is you can spot yourself, you can spot others, and you have an instant record. I was activating on paper. My logbooks, my first few years as a ham, complete chaos. I was less than 85% accuracy. With going to a digital app, I've gone up to 95+% accuracy. And periodically, if you have a question about a call sign, you can always say, hey, is this John in Utah? And it might be Bob in Arizona. So it's a good way to cross-check that you have the correct call sign. Okay, now you finish your activation, next what? Now comes down to take down. Give a heads up that you're getting ready to leave. So you may want to say, looking to go QRT in 5 or 10 minutes, looking to move over to another park. Give people a heads up. Use your spotting app to do that as well in the comment section. Okay, so with this example, this is a couple of weekends ago, I'm getting ready to go to another park, which I already identified as off the grid. And so I said, hey, I am heading over to Lost Creek State Park, and it was nice because I had people already waiting for me. And then, of course, make sure you have everything. Be methodical about packing up your gear. If in doubt, go for one more sweep around, go for a walk around the park, and then come back and recheck. I've lost gear before. Thankfully, it was just a roll of coax, just 25 feet of coax, but still, that was a chunk of coax that I no longer have, just simply because it was a dark, stormy night. I put the coax on top of my car, and I thought I had it, but I didn't. And so then, all of a sudden, I turned around and, okay, Noji, I think your computer timed off.
The repeater timed out.
The repeater timed out, uh-oh. I'm not going that long, am I?
My laptop's connected. So, if you can get out of your thing and come back in, I think that should do it.
Okay.
I'm using your laptop for
Oh, you are? Oh,
power
okay, hang on.
Okay.
I was wrong.
All right, but anyways, when it comes down to losing equipment, it could be as small as one of your connectors. That can really deter an activation. Something like a chunk of coax. I always like to carry coax, and let's see if I can do this without losing my place. Yeah, and so you want to make sure that you have everything. Okay, I do strap my antennas to my wheels quite a bit, so I will go back through and I will physically run my hand over to make sure I have those bungees, because if they're in the spokes of the car, they could do other damage if I don't make sure I take them with me. Okay, and one of the bases of the Parks on the Air program is for you to get out and explore the park. So if you've never been to a historic spot, okay, Topaz internment camp, okay, it's an eerie place, okay? Take some time, walk around the property, and then also go into Delta. Go visit the museum, okay? The museum is a top-notch place to go, and you'll find out about what happened out at the Topaz internment camp. So take the opportunity while you're out and about and explore. My eyes have been opened up. I've lived in Utah since '84 when I was a teenager. I was in and out of Utah for a long time as well, but it's only been recently with activating parks that I've started truly getting to know Utah history. Now, I am going to pick on a couple of other things here. Okay, so some fun things to try. 2-meter challenge. In Utah Valley, you have over 12 different parks that are activatable by your handhelds. I would encourage you to get out and try. If you are a tech, be known on the repeaters so that when you go out to a park, you can jump on the repeater and ask anybody want a QSY to simplex. Try to activate on 2 meters. Okay, another one of my fun things to do, I've done this up at Rockport, is whatever band is the minimum number of contacts I need to get for that band. So 10 for 10, 17 for 17, 40 takes a long time. Okay, just understand that. And then combine it with other programs. Okay, so SOTA, Worldwide Summits on the Air, Worldwide Flora and Fauna, and some other programs. When it comes up to contest weekends, learn the exchange. Go to contestcalendar.com and play around with and take a look at what are the exchanges and activate a park without saying POTA once. That's a pretty incredible challenge. Okay, hike to an activation. Now, you've been activating by yourself, and what about working with others? So one of my first tips is set the expectations early when the planning. Find out what's expected out of the group. Are you going for an hour? Are you looking to be portable? Whose gear are you using? Whose antenna are you using? My rule of thumb is whoever radio is being used is the primary activator. Everybody else is secondary. So if visitors come up, which they invariably will, the secondary person goes talks to the visitors. There's been many times I've taken a break from the activation and I've talked to some visitors, and it's been pretty cool. Okay. Also, limit the number of people that's in your group. I don't mind couples, 3, anything more than 4, no way. You got to split up the group. So if you've got 4 people activating, go ahead and designate roles. So one group gets on 40, another group get on 20, and mix it up and rotate through it. Because if you've ever been in that pile up and you hear a group and the poor activator is copying everybody's call sign down, it's just as tiring for me. I love getting the groups, but at the same time, if you have 4 or more, split up, makes them more fun. Now this is Wade. We're out on the west side of Utah Lake at one of the wildlife management areas. I asked him if I could use this picture. I'm kind of sad that he's not here. But Wade is one of those guys who jumped on Slack over a year ago and said, hey, what about this POTA stuff? And so he's really grown a lot in his activations, and he has a totally different style of activating than what I do. And anybody else who activates, everybody begins to get into a rhythm of how they activate. Now, dealing with other visitors, because you will have other visitors. Your most important other visitor is going to be what I consider a land manager. And if you grab the slides, you'll be able to read about what I mean by land managers. They can either make you or break you. They can also be your best friend, and they're people that you will want to take a break with. There's been times when I've been activating where I've seen people with a curious look on their face, so I will pause an activation and I will show them the map of the contacts that I'm presently making. I've entertained school kids. I even had a veteran from England, and he asked me one day, he was standing at my bumper and I saw his curious look, and so I paused my activation and I asked him, can I help you? And he's like, yeah, is that a ham radio? It's like, yes it is. And it's like, I was a radio operator in the British military in the 1950s. And that led to a really cool conversation. So other visitors, you will hear them chitter chatter along with you. One key thing though is when it comes down to your activation, if someone trips over your line, if someone does something to you, keep your cool, okay? Because invariably somebody might say something crass and you'll want to bark at them. No, you are a representative of the entire ham radio community. You might be the only person that they ever meet who's working on, who might be interested in ham radio later on, because my last contact with a ham radio operator before I got my ham radio license was somewhere between Alta and Brighton up along the pass, and this gentleman was taking a break at the pass and he jumped on his 2-meter radio and he was talking to somebody in the valley, and I thought, wow, that's really cool. And he was the 3rd person that I'd met that really impacted me becoming a ham radio operator, and that's because he was doing it in the field. You might be that person that triggers that interest. Now, as I draw to a conclusion, I don't want to say I didn't abandon my paper. I still have my logbook. My logbook, instead of taking down call signs, one thing I love about our hobby is it's an experimenter's license. So if you want to cobble together your own radio, build it, and go test it, you can. For those people who are on FRS and GMRS, they can't do that. We've got the power. We can do it. So take advantage of it. So I will record things about what antenna am I using, how am I set up. Recently I've added solar weather as well as the weather, because we are in the downturn of the solar cycle. I want to know my results, if they begin to shift, can I keep them up high, or do I need to continue to refine my kit as time goes on? Now, when it comes down to the activations, you can pick and choose what you want to do. Do you want to hike in some gear and activate from the West Desert, or do you want to sit in your vehicle? Here, my dad and I, we are sitting in a rest stop somewhere in Nebraska, and the wind was literally waving my antenna like a fishing pole. Actually, it looked more like a double D because of how the antenna was swaying, and I was running an infrared half wave that day because I knew my tri-mag mount would have just fallen over. And I had fun. Picked up 10, 15 contacts, we packed up, we headed on down the road. And then this other picture is also out at Fish Springs with the same activation that I mentioned earlier. And you get to pick and choose, there's something for everybody. If you are not going out into the field, please keep your radios on. Keep scanning the airwaves for us because we'd love to talk to you. Now, here's a couple of resources, and I could easily have filled up 5 pages worth of resources. There's a lot of great YouTube channels out there, and when it comes down to getting out, it just takes one step, and I do encourage everybody to make an effort. If you're shy about activating, feel free to look me up. I'm available through the Utah Valley Amateur Radio Club's Slack channel. I'm on there a little bit more than I should, and then I'm also able to be found through QRZ. Questions, comments, etc. Yes, sir.
Done a lot of activations. You must love doing POTA, right?
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about doing POTA? Like, what drives you to do so many activations? Because that's a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of effort to put into it.
I like getting out and exploring. One thing I regret stopping 5 to 8 years ago before the pandemic was I was an avid hiker. And I was trying to do summits on the air, but I was failing miserably. I want to get back into hiking back up to the mountains. And I love getting out and exploring. That's basically it. So my goal this summer, this year, in celebration of the US 250, I want to activate 125 individual unique parks. I'm at 91 at this point, so there's a few parks that I have to hike into locally. Twin Peaks, Mount Olympus, Lone Peak, and Mount Timpanogos Wilderness areas. And those are the last close parks that I need to activate, and then everything else is a 100-mile drive plus. And so I've got some more time and more distances to cover.
Comment?
Yes, sir.
Sorry. You mentioned early on about the Beautiful Pass.
Yes, sir.
I had one for 10 years. If you were older than 62, for $80, you can get a lifetime pass. So it gets you into any of those national parks and some others also for $80 a year. You only have to pay for it once, and that takes you and your whole family in. So that was a good point about the the Beautiful Pass.
Yes, and to capitalize on what you just said, is there's other discounts available. So if you're military, active military, former military, seniors, 62 plus, that goes for not just National Park Pass, but also with State Park Pass. Yes, Noji?
A question here about disability.
Oh, absolutely.
So, I mean, is there passes special for?
Yes. So when it comes down to the passes, jump onto the America the Beautiful Pass website, and also jump onto the Utah State passes, because they do have different discounts for different demographics. Okay, gentleman with the America's flag shirt.
Several comments. First of all, I'm not trying to brag when I say this, but here's one reason to learn CW, okay? You can, on the POTA app website, you can set your, you can set the park you're going to and how long it's gonna take you to get there. And if it's not something that you don't have any cell phone service, the reverse beacon network will spot you on the POTA website. So that's something to keep in mind, is that if you activate CW, the the reverse beacon network will spot you on the POTA website.
Okay.
Second comment, what was my second comment? Shoot, I forgot what it was. Let's see, you talked about getting curious people coming by when you're activating. Just a quick experience, I had the opportunity to activate a park when I was on vacation in Hawaii. When I was there, I set up and I was activating CW, and I had a guy come up to me, ask me what I was doing. So I told him, gave him the whole spiel and everything, and the guy said, kind of half jokingly, well, I wonder if you were sending secret messages to the Russians. But yeah, so it's you know it's a good idea to stop what you're doing and talk to other people, because you know, first of all, you give interest in the hobby, so that's something to keep in mind. All right, so
And-
those are my comments.
Yeah, and when I pause my activations, there's people who will wait for you to come back. They will hold the frequency open for you, and so that's really cool as well. There's another comment. Yes, sir.
So I like to do remote stuff, both SOTA and POTA, and I found SOTAMate, SOTAMAT. It's a free app. You have to build an account and you have to configure it before you go. But it allows you to spot by sending an FT8 signal, and you don't have to have any, you can just hold your microphone up to your phone and it generates the FT8 signal, which turns it into a spot.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely wonderful. It has saved my bacon so many times. You can also configure it to send emergency email and SMS messages. And so take the time to set it up before you go do some reading. There's a series of YouTube videos, but SOTAMate is wonderful for remote activation.
I will agree with you. I still haven't gotten the courage to get there, but it is more reliable than for my Escalante example, because I was half an hour dry. I was about ready to change my antenna setup because I wasn't thinking somebody's hearing me. Gentleman in black shirt, you had a comment? Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was just wondering, what if you have a favorite park someplace that's not in the system? Is there a way to get it assigned in the system?
Okay. Is it a national park? Is it
Well, that could be
federal?
City parks, say.
Unfortunately, city parks do not meet the criteria for the parks on the air. Now, worldwide flora and fauna may have a way for you to designate that park as a park of interest. So jump onto Worldwide Flora and Fauna's website and go through their rules, because there's other people who actively hunt other programs, not just summits on the air and parks on the air. There's all kinds of different on the air programs.
Find a number, it's just a little dirt spot off the side of the road. And that's not, can't possibly be a national park or whatever, you know.
Mhm.
I heard that they've recently made it so you can do any park, your city park, but you have to pay.
That was an April Fool's joke.
Oh,
That was pure April Fool's joke.
Okay.
So what's being referenced
do it.
is a couple of the big YouTubers got together and they did a crackpot. Yeah, it was like
Michael Martin's
y-
from Wisconsin.
yeah, Michael Martin. I'm thinking KMRD. I'm thinking half a dozen others.
That's who I heard.
Yeah, that was pure April Fool's joke, where you cash in a couple of bucks and now your local city park is your place.
I'm still accepting payments, so anytime.
All right.
There is a process, though, to his question. I was the first activator of the Provo River Delta. And there's a gentleman that you contact. I found his name through POTA. And there's a gentleman in Utah.
I actually was in contact with him
Yeah,
recently.
I worked with him to work through the criteria, and there's a stiff criteria. They have to have a web page, they you have to have a map, they have to have a boundary map, there are a few things like that. But we kind of, I took some pictures, I gave him an aerial shot, we worked through it. And then he said, do you want to be the first activator? And I said, maybe, and then I said, yes. And so he waited till I had my gear loaded, and I was headed to the Delta, and then he activated it on POTA so that I could get there and be the first activator.
The crazy thing is I had my radio gear with me. I was doing Transcontinental Railway, and I went down to the Spiral Jetty in December, and I didn't activate it. I didn't get on the air because it wasn't. I come back a couple of weeks later,
It's
and
now part of
it's,
POTA.
it is. And the first two activators were doing it as a team. They got over 100. So when I went out there, I said, I have to beat this. And so, yes, sir.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you. Yeah, sorry.
I remember what my other comment was gonna be. With regards to activating on 2 meters, Flight Park State Park is perfect for that. First time I ever activated 2 meters was at Flight Park State Park.
Okay,
And
speaking.
it was a complete fluke. I drove up, I heard some people talking on 146.52, so I reached out to them, I said, hey, can I mark you down as a POTA person? And then after that, I just started calling CQ, and I got like 15 contacts.
I'm going to get in trouble for showing this slide. Okay, this is where research needs to be done. Now, I'm going to say this flat out. If you are on the flight line at the flight park and you activate on the far west end, I don't care. I've activated there, but I zoomed in on a couple of different maps. The map in the center is from the Utah State DNR site. Okay, if you zoom in, it gets really fuzzy. But if you zoom in on a couple of other maps, that RC area is technically out of bounds. But you know what? I don't care. I'm not a purist. Okay? I'll be honest with you. If you're in the socially acceptable area of the flight park, knock yourself out. Okay? Have fun with it because you also get some better propagation from that spot. Yes, sir. All right.
And there's a little spot right down there on the frontage road
Yeah.
that is a twofer
Right.
for the Pony Express route. So if you don't wanna go up to the top, right
Yeah,
down there
it's-
where the road curves, where the flight park overlaps the frontage road, there is a twofer there for the Pony Express.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Where you turn at the dirt road to go up from the top,
You're right.
and that curve at the bottom,
Yep.
it's about 150, 200 feet in from that curve.
Yeah.
Park
Now,
on the side and it's a twofer.
that curve that these gentlemen are talking about is as you come around the point of the mountain, there's kind of a big dirt spot. That's the Pony Express, but they're talking down a little bit closer to Utah County. I'm not sure if I feel comfortable with activating there,
It
but
wraps right around there. There's
There's
a white
there's
spot in the
actually a
road.
pull off
Yeah.
that's just right through, I can
Yeah.
fit my full-size truck right there. no problem.
yeah. All right. Final questions, comments? Yes, Noji?
So, I'm basically a lazy person, so I don't do a lot of work. So to avoid all that work and effort, is it really terrible if I just chose to be a hunter instead of an activator?
No,
No, not at all. We need you.
you help us out.
You help us out like
Give us
crazy.
the contact.
Yes, that's why if you've got your headset and you've got the remote mic set up, I don't care if you're mowing your lawn. If you can hear me and you want to pause your lawn mowing for a moment and make contact with me, knock yourself out.
That's one more in the law.
That's one more in the law.
Is it okay to be a hunter and not
Oh,
log
absolutely.
into POTA? I mean, I put my calls in QRZ.
Oh, absolutely. But the benefit of logging into POTA is you get points. You can also get activator points, not activator points, but you get hunter points. So every 50 contacts you have with one activator, you get another repeat offender type award for that. So
You don't have to put your contacts in as a hunter. Okay,
you just
we are the one who's uploading. So if you're logged in,
So
if you're logged
all you have to
in,
do is log in and you can qualify for that.
Many times
Yeah.
they get the gold star on Cures Ed, so I know they're on Cures Ed also.
yeah. But if you want to create yourself a login on POTA, you can upload your logs there. You can go back as far as the program began, and whoever jumps in, you'll start racking up your awards. All right, gentlemen, ladies, we are out of time, and so thank you so much for your time and attention. I am available for additional questions.
We have to let Brent finish laughing first. Almost there. So, just,
Careful.
just want to snap this.
If anyone doesn't have a ticket, raise your hand while nobody's talking.
So, some of you already know who Sabra is. She's over here. She's sight impaired, and you've seen her come to a couple of club meetings, and she's been to our field day a couple times even. And now, I don't have the exclusive rights to sit by her and talk her through what presentation is going on. And so what I do sometimes is I ignore her at the beginning, all due respect to Sabra, and because I want other people to have the opportunity to do that very thing. If you feel like you want to sit beside her instead and do the prompting and help her to know what's being shown on the slide or what people are doing, passing things around, feel free. You know, I don't have that exclusive right. So, yep, do that, and we're just happy with that. Anyway, I'll turn the time back to Chad.
All right, so yeah, if you haven't got a ticket yet, keep your hand up high. He wants two. Oh, field goal.
Okay, who else? We got one here, and then right here. Can I get you two to help with the scanner again while I'm doing this? And then one on the side. Actually, never mind. Joe's doing it. Never mind. Thanks, Joe. Okay. Okay, keep your hands up. Hold it right in this.
Why does it always seem like we're waiting for Brent? Brent.
Okay.
Because he doesn't stand by the door, everybody trickles in.
You have to chase him around.
He's too busy out talking and social.
Back in the corner back there.
Okay. Nope, you're good. Okay.
All right, now we'll get Brent back up to the front.
I had a 4-leaf clover salad at lunchtime, so if you end up smelling one of my farts, you know, consider yourself lucky. Carl, that was specifically for you. Okay.
You wanna-
All right, yeah, our door prizes. We actually have quite a few tonight. We have, of course, the Pockers J-pole. Nothing new there. It's still, you know, really crappy made, but, you know, signal stick. Okay, that one, can I see the...
It's a black Nano VNA.
Yeah, Nano VNA, thank you. My gosh. Club flashlight. A two-way handheld transceiver. It's Baofeng. ARRL annual membership. Okay, that right there is a used 900 watt or megawatt Kenwood radio. Megahertz, thank you. Sorry, megahertz. Computer. Windows system computer. And then we have, is that it? Okay, that's it.
And you can pick from, when you come up, the number's called, you can pick from any of them.
Yep.
You also get them to have your picture.
Yep. Don't skip the job.
All right. I should also warn you as well, I think I might have accidentally eaten, you know, a Roman soldier earlier. You know, bite me. 579. Oh, crap, Sean. always coming up. I think I might have accidentally eaten a Roman soldier earlier, but I don't know. I think he was kind of I think he was kind of gladiator. Okay. 564. 564. Five, 6, 1. Five, 9, 4. 5, 9, 4. Wait, is that me? Please tell me that's me. Okay, wait.
Oh, he got it out there.
Nope. Okay, right there. All this paper in here reminds me of the joke I have about paper, but then I realized how terrible it was. Huh? Terrible? Paper, you know. Okay, you all suck. 5, 4, 6. Wait. 5, 4, 9, darn it. 5, 4, 6. Yep. Wait for just a minute so I can see what's left. No, you're good. You're good. See what he takes.
Show your ID.
Got an antenna, flashlight, and bail.
Oh, man.
Let's go while we're down. Call the next number.
Well, I'm just waiting to see what's left.
What's a good one to take?
Balfing. Yeah. All right, so we still have the computer and the club light left. So we got 2 prizes left. Oh, and the J-pole. So we got 3 prizes left. Here we go.
Should have been a tape measure.
Okay, never mind. We got 3. So we got the Balfang, the J-pole, and the computer. 5, 6, 0.
Do you know what happened to the tape measure?
Tape measure. I didn't see a tape measure.
We gave it to you.
No, you didn't. Did you?
No.
Is there a tape measure up here, Noji?
Well, the computer.
Or it was in the back. Wait.
All the pictures you took already, I'm sure.
5, 5, 9. 5, 5, 9. Okay, which means the Balfang. 5, 8, 6. 5, 8, 6. 5, 8, 6.
Oh, you keep
Going once. Oh, we got a winner? We got a winner.
I won 2.
I almost took the mini, but I've got 2 of them.
Go ahead, get your picture took.
Hold up there. Here we go. Got it. Got it. Thank you.
All right.
Like we need another.
Okay. Thanks everybody for coming out. Look, we ended right exactly on time. For those,
You're welcome.
For those of you who are feeling a little famished like me, we're going to QSY over to J Dogs down on 287 East University Parkway. Great dogs. We'll meet you there. And other than that, hopefully we'll see you at the barbecue on Saturday or field day at the end of the month.